So last week I trained just over almost 21 hours I trained.
Nice.
And this week I'll probably actually only train like 17.
You know we don't play, stay out the way. Check out this look on my face. I'll come save the day. Give me my cape, look at I'm flying away. Five-star cream of the crop, go and make spot. Go and put the cherry on top. This one can't be stopped, giving them shock. It's really like that, don't believe me, just watch.
So is this the year of volume?
This is the year of 1 coffee a day. That's how good my energy is.
You're drinking 1 coffee a day?
1 coffee a day. This, my friend, is green tea. Delicious. I could almost cut out the morning coffee. I would say I'm almost at a point I could cut out the morning coffee. Like I wake up and feel pretty good. Even when the drug testers wake me up at 5:55 a.m. and I was in an absolute coma. This year is about doing the specific volume to meet the demand that I will place on myself in the race. So can I ride my bike for only 2 hours and expect to be able to do 4 hours at a let's call it the bottom of zone 3, upper zone 2, and then run well after, also in zone 3? The answer to that is no. If you don't do some adaptation training to be able to ride over time for 4 hours at the top of zone 2 or the bottom of zone 3, then why in the world would you be able to do that suddenly on a particular race day? That's illogical. So from a volume standpoint, then I believe in specificity of volume. So as long as I'm doing the specific sessions with which to meet the demands of the race, then whatever the volume of that ends up being is what the volume ends up being. And so last week I executed a full week of training and I hit 10 hours and 10 minutes on the bike. And I hit every specific goal that I wanted and, in my opinion, needed to hit. And that's what the volume ended up being.
But you're telling me that your demands are not a 21-day stage race, 5 hours a day on the bike at high aerobic capacity?
You certainly can make that your demand. Like if you want to train.
But for what you're training for.
Well, no, I mean for what I'm training for, I don't know a single triathlete who goes to the race they want to win and comes in tired. Every athlete I've ever met who goes to a race they want to win tapers for probably 5 to 7 and some even more 10 days. Meaning the day of the race, they are as fresh as they can possibly be. So that is illogical to me, to be training like pro tour cyclists who the race they want to win is like 20 day, they have to be able to perform on day 7, day 9, day 12, day 15, and day 20, literally in a row of hard 5-hour racing days. So to train like them, which is not even remotely the demand with which I encounter, is the most illogical and stupid thing I can even think of. Yet that's what I've been striving to do the last few years.
Is it
like
dogma?
I gotta train 4 or 5 hours a day, no recovery days, because that's what some other guy's doing and he's having success. Is it dogma? Absolutely it is. It is. This is how it always works. Is whoever's good at the moment, let's copy them because we are insecure and don't know what we're talking about. So let's copy whoever's good at the moment. And so whoever's good at the moment, if that's what they're doing, if they're training 5-6 hours a day with no recovery days, then let's copy them.
So today's a brick.
I pretty well always brick this day. I'm bricking this day. Specificity-wise, I think it's good for me to run off the bike after if I was going to choose a run to run off the bike, this would be the one I would choose because of the fact that I biked hard, and so this would be the one that your legs would feel, let's say, the least comfortable. Right now, I'm just running easy. With time and progression, could I see sometimes running this as a tempo off the bike? A sort of zone 3 run, yes. Right now, though, just keeping it easy. Zone 2, probably be about 415 to 410 per kilometer. Just aching. It's not so much like you can't think of it as total volume. Like, there's many ways to create a 20-hour week. I created a 20-hour week this week, and I took 2 days off last week. I only trained 5 days.
Oh,
So
wow.
if you do the numbers on that, you know what I mean? Like, or you can train 7 days a week and train 20, you know what I mean? Like, there's a million ways to create, you know? I, on the other hand, would like to... I only have one goal for myself now, and it is I want to achieve my best. And I know how to do it. Is it the win? Will it be the win? I mean, that's not really... The goal here is to achieve my best. And if my best is the win, then awesome. And if my best is 3rd, then awesome. Or if my best is 10th, then awesome. But I want to achieve my best. And so in Kona in 2017, I got 2nd. And I felt like I won. Because I had given it my very best. And I had trained to the best of my knowledge. And yes, afterwards, there were things in my mind that I felt that I could do better. But on that day, I can say that when I crossed that finish line, 2nd was the absolute best that I had that day with the knowledge that I had at that time, and I executed and acted upon it excellently. And I felt like I won, even though I didn't. It felt like a win. And so that's what I am cultivating now is... I'm not even cultivating. I know it to be true that if you actually give it your very best, and that starts every day. It started on January 1st. Every day for the whole season. And make the right decisions. And you might make a mistake here and there, but you shouldn't be making too many of them. And then when you go to the race, I can say with certainty, when I go to Oceanside this year, whatever happens, if I get beat, it's because they were better than me. And I know that because I'm coaching myself now and I'm doing a good job doing it. 1200 with a supra threshold. Back home, there would be days where, you know, it would be like in the middle of winter and it would be like this temperature, knocking on the door at 50 degrees. I'd be out running, no shirt on. Now I'm freezing.
Today is a very mood swing weather day. It was about 4 minutes ago, it was pouring rain, and now the sun's out.
The desert. That's the desert for you. But yes, today I would say it's been the worst day in the last calendar year in terms of weather.
Going off your last video, every session has a purpose. What exactly does that mean?
I think you should, I would say there's pretty well no instance where you should be out training and not have at least something going on in your head as to the why. So, you know, what was my purpose for the run off the bike? Well, aerobic development. You know, I ran it at 410 per kilometer, which for me, if my threshold right now in the run is around 320 to 325, and by threshold in the run, I'm saying something I can hold for 45 minutes, maybe a little longer if I'm really pushing myself. Then it was a good upper zone 2 stimulus, so that was sort of the one part of why. The other part of why is, I think if you're going to run off the bike, if you were going to choose a run to run off the bike, then running off a hard bike is a good one because that gives you confidence as to what it feels to run off hard biking. As well, I pushed the carbs in the bike. I did 150 grams in about 75 minutes, which for me is high. And so if I was backed up in the stomach and stuff, then in a half-hour run, it would certainly, I'd have some discomfort and it would be showing itself. So that, and then also I like to live my life and, be done training at a half-decent time. And so every now and then it's nice to break the run to the bike and be done training relatively early. So I was able, instead of having to rest an hour or whatever and do it, I was done the bike run in 2.5 hours. So last week I trained almost 21 hours I trained.
Nice.
And this week I'll probably actually only train like 17, just because of the way that the week pans out. I couldn't care less what the weekly volume is. I just don't think that that's not a necessary component to be thinking about. You need to think about the specificity of what you're doing inside the week. And as long as what you're doing inside the week is progressive and taking you in the direction of your goals,
then I don't care what the volume ends up being. I totally disagree with that style of coaching.